Hello and welcome back to Careers Plus Plus, powered by DN69 in collaboration with AIT Entrepreneurship Center. Today's topic, Careers Plus Plus SKUs from learning to self-reliance. So far, we focus on understanding ourself, careers, life, and money. But for an ecosystem to sustain and grow, it must become self-reliant. So what are Careers Plus Plus stock-keeping units, or SKUs? They are designed not just as tools for you, but as the foundation for making C++ sustainable. Now I would like to call or invite our co-founder for Careers Plus Plus, Mr. Bergab Mohandas, to explain more about the importance of SKUs. Take it away, Mr. Bergab. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. So good afternoon for one more time to all of us. So as we've been discussing, today is the concluding session of this regular sessions, having presentations followed by quick Q&A and group discussions and so on and so forth for this first semester, because after traversing the entire depth of all the aspects, so today we're talking about the bit that we are going to focus a lot more during the second semester. That is the stock keeping units of Careers Plus Plus, which basically are the tool for our self-reliance as Careers Plus Plus. So yeah, what are Careers Plus's stock keeping units, or what we call SKU? I think a very common term for things that are physically available is merchandise. So SKUs are quite similar to a merchandise in concept. So these are actually some structured tools, frameworks, resources, that relates with whatever we have been discussing in our Careers Plus Plus sessions. So they're designed actually to convert whatever we have learned through this Careers Plus Plus platform into action. And definitely each of them are aligned with the different stages of the journey, because throughout these previous 16 sessions, we have traversed across the entire spectrum, right? And we touched base upon each of the aspects that a novice would start from the first day of their self-career all the way, maybe until they spend 30 years in the search of what they think is the ultimate success. So in different stages, definitely these SKUs are seen as the tool to support. So automatically this, what they include certain templates, some assessment tools, some planning tools, some advisory services. So basically in one line, SKUs are those tools of Careers Plus Plus which convert the understanding into execution. So we can see like two fundamental layers in our SKUs. So the first are the fundamental, like foundational layers, which are mostly free for everyone, like this live sessions, certain recordings, all the handouts for the sessions, the discussion contents and so on and so forth, because this is basically to build trust amongst ourselves on the intent, then expand ecosystem and enable access. Because you see, I mean at the very beginning of Careers Plus Plus, what we mentioned, that knowledge should have a free access irrespective of whatever the level of detailing we need. So in Careers Plus Plus, every single session is offered. So anyone who simply subscribes to our YouTube channel is a member. So automatically, to get the basic benefits of Careers Plus Plus, everything is absolutely free. However, there are certain valued layers in the SKUs which are minimally priced, but definitely again for our founding team, F30 members, it's again available free of charge. Um, are the tools for assessments, the templates, in fact, the kind of things that some of us already got about the assessment about our career, chosen career, our the preferred career path as per the natural alignment, or our strength mapping tool, and so on and so forth. So basically things like that. So assessment tools, templates, toolkits, advisory services. So these are some certain valued layers which should be minimally priced. And what is the purpose? Because the purpose is to enable a deeper impact, then to support structured growth of the individuals and professionals, and of course, at some point in time, Careers Plus Plus need to sustain on its own, right? It cannot be always surviving on the support from its supporting organization. So this would be basically the self-reliant source for Careers Plus Plus as well. So basically, the free aspects builds the foundations of Careers Plus Plus, and the SKUs build its sustainability so that it can, survive on its own. Then why these SKUs are important? So definitely they're important because they help to convert reflections into action. They provide structured guidance, and they actually can help us to measure our progress, that how well we have progressed, and that is like every SKU will provide. And when we see it from an ecosystem viewpoint, so this ecosystem means Careers Plus Plus ecosystem viewpoint. So automatically this C++ SKUs will keep C++ itself self-reliant, so that it can it can sustain without having any dependency on any external funding, because self-reliance strengthens a long-term impact. So that's why we have devised the SKUs in a manner that it can provide support to all community members of C++, and at the same time, the revenue generated through it can keep it self-reliant. So the key philosophy behind these SKUs are that they have to be simple and practical. They have to be structured yet flexible so that it can cater to a vast range of users. They have to be supportive, not prescriptive, because the thing is that, as we have been telling all this while, Careers Plus Plus is more of a supporting tool to realize ourselves in a manner that we can be the best version of ourselves and can get the best possible result. So that's why it's not going to have any prescriptive, any prescriptions for success. Rather, it will support our path towards success. And of course, it's designed for real-life applications, because every SKU is based on the real-life experience of the co-founders, and it would be applicable. So during the second semester, when we grow these SKUs together, I think all of our participants would have a clear idea on that, how it helps in terms of getting our necessities met. So that's why the SKUs would be the tool to guide, not to dictate what is to be done. So the categories, if we see from different layers perspective, so the first is definitely the learning layer, which is again free of charge, that we are offering already, that provides awareness and entry to this thought process of self-improvement. Then the second layer is diagnostic layer, that basically helps us to understand ourselves more. It's for the more about the self-awareness, because as we have been saying from the very beginning of Careers Plus Plus, the self-awareness is the tool. So because that gives the real tool, that gives the clarity in our mind, and without clarity, it's very difficult to actually go the way we really want to go in the progression of our careers. Then once the diagnostic layer is covered, the next is the execution toolkit, so that those toolkits provide us the tools to prepare for our respective chosen career paths. Then certain strategic planning tools that help us for the long-term direction to go the right do the right path. Then of course entrepreneurial tools for the ones among us who really want to have our own business ventures. An advisory layer that okay, if someone really wants a customized solution based on their requirements, so that's also there. It's a personalized support to each individual. So based on the 6 layers with different level of detailing, you know, uh, different stages of the growth of the individuals can be supported by CareersPlus SKUs. So some of the high value SKUs we would like to highlight today. In fact, when we have our sessions during the semester 2, each of the 30 odd SKUs would be dealt with, in terms of how we develop them, how we use them. But okay, today we just highlight some of the high value SKUs as we identify them. I think at the very beginning of our sessions in the handouts, we already have enlisted all the 36, if I remember correct, SKUs that going to be published during semester 2. So some of the examples of the high value SKUs are the SKUs that is relevant to the career alignment assessments, which I think many of us have already done the exercise that where we actually see which direction we align based on our natural instincts, right? And role fit mapping. This also, I think, many of us already have done it. That okay, based on the experience so far, which direction we see ourselves fit. Then things like tools on what kind of leadership style suits his individual, or what kind of startup readiness tests we can do to see that if we are ready to go towards the entrepreneurial direction or not, things like that, because this kind of high value SKUs give us very deep insights and structured clarity in terms of what we really want, and that aids and adds to the long-term value. So that's why these high value SKUs are the intellectual backbone of CareersPlus. Now there are some practical toolkits as well, which anyone can use in day-to-day activities during the progression of our career. For example, the CV and resume templates. I think we had a very exhaustive session where we actually went to the detail that how CV and resume differ from each other. In fact, one of our community member has recently, utilized that aspect, and have successfully acquired a very desired job of his choice. So, things like that. These are practical toolkits that comes out of CareersPlus repertoire as its SKU. Interview toolkits. In fact, some of our community members already have successfully used them, and which enable them to get the job of their choice. Then workplace survival guide, things like productivity systems, burnout and resilience toolkit. So these are some practical toolkits that also will come out of the SKUs repertoire of CareersPlus, because this will provide some immediate usability, some daily relevance in our day-to-day work, and very wide applicability, because each of us come across the necessity of such, structured guidance for our dealing with day-to-day working life. So these are some very high impact and high usage tools. Then there are some strategic and entrepreneurial SKUs as well, which will include things like career decision framework based on the self-realization, self-awareness. Then things like 12-month action plan, that how we progress ourselves, Then things like impact career mapping based on the initial diagnostics tool that we use. Then if we really want to get on to our own own entrepreneurial journey, that okay, things like business model canvas or pitch deck templates, things like that, that these are like high-end strategic and entrepreneurial SKUs that we are going to develop together. So because this will again help the same thing as we discussed: structured thinking, long-term planning, and execution readiness. So this again, so at the end of the day, every single SKU has one point agenda: support, direction, and growth of its users. So which we really want all of our Careers Plus Plus community member to be highly benefited. Now, the importance of SKU to self-reliance, right? So here again, we can see it from, because we have been telling from the very beginning, right, that we see SKUs as a tool for self-reliance, both the users as well as the ecosystem of Careers Plus Plus itself. So how does it actually matter, right? So at the individual level, these SKUs will build discipline among the users, because we might have, we might go across this Careers Plus Plus sessions, because since it's available free at YouTube anyway, repeatedly several times. But then again, a lot of time maybe to comprehend it exactly is not very easy. But when we actually work with the SKUs, then we have some proven evidence of how it works, right? Then we have some tangible outcomes. So that's why, and that's how we can discipline ourselves through the correct comprehension that can come from the SKUs. And with that discipline, we can create a stronger structure for ourselves on how we move forward, and that actually enables consistency in us in terms of acquiring success. So that's how the SKUs actually create self-reliance to the individuals using them. Now, how SKU brings self-reliance to the ecosystem of Careers Plus Plus itself? Because SKUs, as we have said moments back, that even though at a very minimal rate, but each of them will generate revenue. And those revenue will help Careers Plus Plus's own operational requirements, and that actually helps us to enable with larger expansion, because we have some very higher ambition in terms of supporting the Careers Plus Plus community members in terms of fulfilling their dreams. We look forward to have our own sort of like funding assistance or scholarships and whatnot for our own community member, the people who has joined Careers Plus Plus, who really want to make their lives better. So that's why the SKs eventually empower both individuals in terms of making them stronger and more structured professionals, and at the same time the platform in terms of making it financially independent. Now, semester 2 would be on hands-on SKU creation, as I've mentioned earlier. So basically during this semester, the participants will learn how SKUs are designed. Then we will build SKUs together. I mean, of course, it will be pre-built by our team, but we will share the process of building the SKUs together, and then in the process understand what is a real-world application, and in a way that participants themselves become a contributor to the C++ ecosystem. So these sessions will definitely include the creation of the template, then how we structure the framework, and how we eventually develop the tool itself. So basically our participants for the semester 2 would not just be using SKUs, but they become the creators, like co-creators of the same. And in order to get the most effective utilization of the SKUs, so I think one has to use them consistently, apply them honestly, revisit and refine, and avoid overcomplication, But I think at the same time, people just need to avoid collecting tools without using. A lot of time maybe we just see it, it's available so cheap, okay, let's have it, but then don't use it. Or sometime maybe just complete it mechanically, because most of the SKUs will come up with, mostly it's like fill in the blanks kind of a thing, and most of the blanks will be coming with options, right? So simply doing it mechanically, because if we just do it that way, we might just get some mechanical outcome. And dependency without thinking that sometimes it just might also happen that we become so dependent on the tool, like as we come across, like utilization of AI today is also is in a way of using SKUs, right? And nowadays, as I can see, some people who otherwise might be very good in writing very good language, but still they have become so much dependent that they would simply ask AI to cross-check everything they do, you know, or so things like that we better avoid. We make use of the SKUs for our own benefit, but let's not become dependent, because nobody should, like as the Carriers Plus Plus mantra says, nobody should have a better clarity about ourselves than we, right? So automatically, if we start thinking that, oh, this SKU might give us, no, we need to understand exactly that what we want and let that SKU then act accordingly to give us what we want. So things like that, so these SKUs, while no matter how good they are, but they are a supporting feature in our lives. They are not something that will replace the thinking process. So how Careers Plus Plus guides ones? Okay, from learning to execution to contribution. So basically, when it comes to the SKUs, so Careers Plus Plus simply guide everyone in terms of providing a structured tool in the form of SKU, and then enabling a practical action. So whosoever attends these sessions during semester 2 will have a clarity in terms of how to utilize them and how it creates self-reliance both for individuals as well as for the ecosystem, and last but not the least, like involve each of us in creating something very, very beneficial for the generations to come. So with that, I think today's one had been a very short session. So I thank you all for all the time, all the attention throughout this 16 sessions and the short session today. I really look forward to see all of you for our finale on most likely 22nd of April, which would be a group discussion amongst all our Founders Council members, including myself, Professor Dieter, and our first generation management. So the details would be shared very shortly by our program director, Mr. Tungish. So most likely on 22nd of April, we'll have our finale of the first semester, but not as a presentation like this, but would be as a live telecast group discussion amongst the Founders Council members of Careers Plus Plus, and of course, any one of you who would be willing to join in person are most welcome. So this will be the conclusion of the first semester before we move on to the second semester for Careers Plus Plus. So thank you for today's session. And Professor Dieter, if you want to add anything on the SKUs before we go to the group discussion and Q&A. Thank you.
Yeah, not much to add. Please download them and use them for your advantage. So as for the initial group, they're for free, right? And
yes, and they actually they get involved in the development process together with us. Yeah. So
if anyone has a question, now is the time to ask your question. For clarity, if you have any doubts, feel free to inform us. You can type on the chat, or you can speak just on your camera so we can see you also. Hi, so now you can see us three here. Professor Dieter and Mr. Bragava, all three here. We are live here at AIT Entrepreneurship Center. And now the floor is open for question and answers. So if you guys have anything, or if you want to share anything, please feel free to share with us so we can also, know if you understand the presentation today or in the previous sessions.
Or your experience, if you have used one of the SKUs already?
I think many of them have used that career alignment and
The first two ones,
yeah,
yeah?
strength
Yeah.
mapping tool, because the other SKUs we haven't released them yet, right? Because actually on purpose we want to develop them in presence of the participants together so that they can get the essence a bit better. Yeah, because we can be patient to make the commercialization later, but I think it's very essential that the founding members of Careers Plus Plus actually can absorb that, what those SKUs bring, right?
And you are all part of the founding 30, yeah?
Yeah, I think all of them, yes.
So this SKUs will be available in the website soon, right? Before the semester 2,
I
or
think we will provide how to say, we will provide the basic premises. Some of them would be there, but see, the thing is that it has to be made fully available in the website when we are thinking of commercialization, right? But what I would like, maybe the founding 30 members should be having the chance to own them even before we make it
Yep,
commercial.
available,
So
yeah.
yeah.
So you will be the first ones to receive. So only through email first.
Yeah, I
You
think
through
during we will during second semester, I don't think we'll be having 16 sessions or something. I think we will put it into maximum maybe 8 sessions. So altogether we have 30 odd SKUs. So I think we can cover about 4 SKU per session,
per
and
session. Okay.
so that yeah, they can avail the benefit of having them with them even before it goes out to the for the commercialization phase. Yeah, but it's very essential, I think for all of us to understand that any initiative, right, any initiative needs sort of like a self-reliance, right? Needs funds, needs resources to grow. And Careers Plus Plus is not something that we have done this much and we just keep it like that. I think we ourselves, all the founders, we are going to get more and more experience into our lives during this course in time, and we keep on adding. So basically, it's an ever-evolving process for even us. So that's what we intend to share with everyone. And like I have been saying from the day one, it's not some fast track shortcut to success kind of a program. It's about making each of us so capable and so positive in our lives that achievements become much easier.
So when are we starting the second semester? Do we have a date yet or month?
I think let's try and align it with maybe because AIT semester is ending around May, right?
May, yes.
So there is a gap between, but I think we can what my personal suggestion would be that after 22nd, let's take a pause of about 5 to 6 weeks maybe, and then around early June we can start a second semester. It's pretty much similar setup, similar timing, I would say. Yeah.
But be sure to join us on the CP++ grand finale on April 22
Yes.
at 3 p.m.
Yes. So
Because we have special guests as well. The
yes, we have all the Founders Council
Founders
members.
Council,
Yeah. Because I think our participants haven't met any of them. Okay, we are the management met, but I think so it is basically the people behind the whole inception of Careers Plus Plus will join, and amongst us, I think we have our own repertoire of about 100 companies, where actually even some of the participants, if they amend their ways well, can get benefited, be it in terms of finding a job out there, finding internships, or even getting their business ventures funded, maybe. Yeah.
And these are visionary leaders who will be joining us on the 22nd.
Yep.
So be sure to join.
Yeah. I think we'll share the details anyway.
Yeah, we'll share the details.
All right.
In the meantime, if you have questions,
Within the room, do we have questions? I saw someone picking up a mic.
What skills we need for designing SKU? Like what kind of skills we need?
Well, I think if each SKU will have its own content, right? For example, the ones that we already have come across, like our career pathfinding tool, and okay, so each of them would be somewhat like that, right? Okay, for example, Some of our founders, 30 member, they already availed the benefit of the CareersPlus uh, touch of CV and resume. Like I think we had so things like that. So we will some of the things actually it's not that we have the things, but okay, we haven't made them available yet, right? So it'll be each of them would be unique in its own way. But what we try to do rather than making it like a template where people can just fill in and get it ready. So we will make it a template but customized one. So it'll be sort of basically, say for example, if it's a template and with a guideline that how they can fill it in. It's just, and in fact, if it is some tool regarding their personal awareness and planning, okay, it'll be coming in form of a questionnaire, they respond it. Based on the response, they can evaluate where they stand, things like that, So I think we have a list of 36 SKUs that was shared in initial couple of presentations, if I'm correct. I think we will share anyway, each of them. I think we already have the list, 36, if I remember correct. In fact, I was thinking of adding one more because at the moment we have one SKU about checking our own alignments, right? Then we have one SKU checking our strength mapping, right? Actually, we can create another SKU based on that. That means if alignments and strength, they say to, because we came across for several of us, maybe when they check the alignment, they're business people, but when they check the strength mapping, they turned out to be corporate. So if the things are not 100% aligned, then how we compare them further and get a further, final alignment for things like that. But we have a list. I think we should make it again just to refresh the memory, which is, so it can be as basic as how to write a CV and resume, all the way to the very complex things like how to identify maybe things like burnout within ourselves and improve our psychological strength not to have such adversity. So it's a vast range. Yeah.
So one basic question, how our SKU will help higher studies, like if we should go or no, how it will help us?
Definitely how to choose the right program for ourselves, how to choose the right scholarship, how to approach the right institutions. Yeah, all of it. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
We have another question online. Modupe, go on. Hi, Modupe. Cannot hear you.
Did the question come? Or?
Okay. She said she will type
Okay.
it out. Maybe her mic is not working. Sure, Modupe, you can type it. We'll read it.
In the meantime, do we have anything in?
Go ahead.
It came already.
In preparation for life after graduation, what should I be focusing on this final year so I'm not unprepared? Any specific advice for this current economy? Mr. Bergab, Professor Dieter, maybe you can also.
Life after graduation, what should I be focusing this final year? So you're still in your final year, right? You're not graduated yet, right? Well, my 2 cents on it would be like, of course, we need to keep a close watch in the economy, but then again, right? Okay, 1 year plus left. So yeah, that's good amount of time, right? So at this point in time, maybe rather than getting too perturbed about the things around, just focus on doing the best in what you are here for, right? So you're here to get your master's done with reasonably good credits, I believe. So focus on that. That's definitely is the priority number one until it's done, right? But definitely, I think based on whatever you have in your mind, you must be having a career path going beyond from this master's, right? So if current economy or whatever makes you think that what was your original plan that may not be very fruitful now, need to identify what might go wrong and get prepared for that, you know. But your priority should be that since you still have more than a year of your master's left, focus on that. I mean, you cannot lose your focus from that because that's what is your prime objective at this point in time. But of course, I mean, whatever is happening in the world, if that gives you a wake-up call that whatever you thought initially might not work, well, need to identify those, and we can very well have discussion. We need to have very specific information on from your side to guide you better on that. Yeah, Professor, you want to add anything?
Yeah, because you're asking any specific advice for this current economy. You know, I would say don't let yourself, you know, steer by the current economy. I think it's more important what you believe in yourself, your values, and your, you know, what you really want to achieve. We have seen the current economy. I mean, we are slipped in a oil crisis very quickly. We may slip out also very quickly. So that should not be your main guide in your decision, in my opinion.
For me, if I may add, I think you should also like increase your network. So what you're doing right now is very good. You join CareersPlus. So widen your network, reach out more, join more events and workshops for to learn more and to continue learning, because we should not stop learning, and connect more to people. I think, good connections is very important.
Yeah.
Thank you for your question, Madupe.
The economy might get better now, right? We got
Yeah. Tungish, you have question? Really? Why?
no. You see, like every adversity brings something positive this way or that way. Now that the fuel price is so high, the Bangkok traffic seems to be much better. so you know, I mean, okay, of course we don't want the traffic to get better because of an adversity like this, but then again, you know, just for humor, because this is what is happening. But yeah, as another side of it, the sky trains are almost impossible to get in. The other day we stepped into the sky train on a Sunday morning, say 10:30 or something, which otherwise would be but it's very hard to get in. So yeah, I mean, I think we have seen, but I think with the ceasefire, at least 14 days, we hope it becomes permanent, you know, and yeah, things get back to normal.
Yeah, so as a skipper on my boat, you know, many things can be related to, you know, to be a captain or skipper on a boat. You know, of course, if there's a certain crisis, you know, as a skipper, we have wind, tide, storms.
Yeah.
We are changing course.
Yeah.
But we are not changing our destination.
True,
So we are still,
true.
you know, having that in mind. We still want to go to our destination.
True. I think, you know.
So if there's no more question, I think that ends our session for today, and we hope that you have relaxing Songkran time. So happy Songkran in advance to everyone, and we'll see you after Songkran on April 22.
If you found this content useful, please hit like and subscribe our Careers Plus channel. Thank you.